Welcome back to the channel, my spooky friends. I'm Sam, and I'm your host for tonight as we journey once again into the heart of darkness. We've scoured the globe, sifted through countless chilling accounts, and tonight, we bring you three tales that'll chill you to the bone. Stories of deserted harbors, shrouded in darkness where the only light comes from sources unknown and unexplained. Turn off the lights, sit back, and prepare to be terrified. Welcome to our channel where we dive into the darkest and most mysterious tales. Today, we bring you three spine-chilling stories about unexplained lights in deserted harbors. Turn off the lights, sit back, and prepare to be terrified. Our first tale takes us to the rugged coastline of Maine, where a lone fisherman named Elias set out on a foggy night, hoping for a good catch. Elias knew these waters like the back of his hand, every current, every rock. But tonight, something felt different. A thick fog had rolled in, thicker than Elias had ever seen. The air was heavy, silent, save for the gentle lapping of the waves against his small boat. As Elias cast his net, he noticed a faint glow in the distance. A single solitary light, piercing the swirling gray of the fog. At first he dismissed it as another boat, but this light, it pulsed with an unnatural rhythm. Curiosity soon turned to unease as the light grew stronger, its glow becoming almost blinding. It beckoned Elias closer, an irresistible siren song in the stillness of the night. Elias, a man of the sea and not one to be easily spooked, steered his boat towards the light. The fog seemed to part around it, revealing nothing but black water and that eerie glow. As he drew closer, he swore he could hear a faint humming sound, growing louder with every passing moment. The hair on his arms stood on end. He'd caught many strange things in his nets over the years, but this was different. The light pulsed again, and that's when Elias saw it. A shape began to emerge from the fog, a hulking silhouette of what looked like a ship, its outline illuminated by the unnatural light. But this was no ordinary ship. Its masts were broken, its sails tattered and torn. Barnacles clung to its sides, as if it had been submerged for decades. And the light, it seemed to emanate from within the ship itself, casting grotesque shadows that danced across the fog. Elias's gut screamed at him to turn back, but a strange and terrible curiosity rooted him to the spot. He cautiously maneuvered his boat closer, his hand trembling as he reached for his lantern. As he raised his lantern, its light cut through the fog, falling upon the ship's deck. And that's when Elias's blood ran cold. Scattered across the deck were skeletal figures, their bony fingers still clutching at rusted fishing nets and hooks. The humming sound intensified, now a low, mournful groan that seemed to seep from the very timbers of the ship. The skeletal faces of the dead crew seemed to lock eyes with Elias, their empty sockets burning with an eerie light that matched the glow emanating from the heart of the ship. Elias, paralyzed with fear, watched as the light pulsed once more, and the ghostly ship began to move. Our next story takes us to the desolate shores of Scotland, where a group of friends, eager for adventure, decided to explore the ruins of an abandoned harbor one moonless night. The harbor, once a bustling hub of activity, now lay in ruins, its dilapidated buildings casting long, eerie shadows in the moonlight. Whispers of strange occurrences and unexplained lights had circulated among the locals for years, but the group of friends, fueled by youthful bravado, paid them no heed. They arrived at the harbor as the last rays of sunlight faded below the horizon, their laughter echoing through the stillness of the night. Armed with flashlights and a healthy dose of skepticism, they began to explore the crumbling structures, their voices bouncing off the decaying walls. As they ventured deeper into the heart of the harbor, a sense of unease settled over them. The air grew colder, and the silence was broken only by the sound of their own footsteps and the distant crashing of waves against the harbor wall. The friends brushed it off as their imaginations getting the better of them, but deep down, a primal fear began to stir. One of the friends, a young woman named Fiona, noticed a faint light flickering in the distance. It seemed to be coming from the far end of the harbor, where a large, dilapidated warehouse stood, its windows boarded up and its doors hanging precariously from their hinges. Intrigued, the group cautiously made their way towards the light, their footsteps echoing on the pavement. As they drew closer, the flickering light grew stronger, casting dancing shadows on the warehouse walls. Fiona, her heart pounding in her chest, raised her flashlight and pointed it towards the source of the light. There, in the shattered remains of a window, they saw it. A ship, its hull seemingly made of shadow and mist, its sails billowing in a non-existent wind. Eerie green lights flickered along its deck, casting an unnatural glow upon the dilapidated surroundings. The friends stood frozen, their breath catching in their throats. This was no ordinary ship. It seemed to shimmer and distort, its edges blurring as if it were not entirely of this world. The air grew heavy, thick with the smell of salt and decay, and an unnatural chill settled over the group. Fiona, her voice trembling, whispered, "What is that?" No one dared to speak. The ship, as if sensing their presence, began to move. It glided silently towards them, its spectral form slipping between the ruined buildings as if it were a phantom. The friends, their initial curiosity replaced by sheer terror, turned and ran. Our final tale takes us to the windswept shores of Nova Scotia, where a solitary lighthouse stands sentinel over a treacherous stretch of coastline. This is the story of Thomas, a seasoned lighthouse keeper, a man as rugged and unyielding as the coast he guarded. Thomas, a man of few words, found solace in the solitude of his lonely vigil, the rhythmic crashing of waves his only companion. But one stormy night, everything changed. The storm raged for days, the wind howling like a banshee, the waves crashing against the rocks with a ferocity that shook the very foundations of the lighthouse. Thomas, ever vigilant, kept the lamp lit, its beam cutting through the darkness, a beacon of hope for any vessel caught in the tempest's fury. As the storm reached its peak, a strange light appeared in the distance. It wasn't the comforting glow of another ship's lantern, nor the flash of lightning illuminating the tumultuous sky. This light was different. It pulsed with an unnatural rhythm, a cold blue light that seemed to pierce the very heart of the storm. Thomas, his brow furrowed in concern, watched the light intently. It moved erratically, dancing across the waves, defying the storm's fury. He'd never seen anything like it in all his years at sea. As the storm raged on, the blue light drew closer, its pulsating glow casting eerie shadows across the raging sea. Thomas, his curiosity piqued, grabbed his telescope for a closer look. The wind howled around him, threatening to rip the instrument from his grasp, but he held on tight, his eye glued to the lens. What he saw sent a chill down his spine. It wasn't a ship, nor any vessel known to man. It appeared to be a swirling vortex of light, a miniature storm within the storm, its center radiating that unnerving blue glow. As Thomas watched, transfixed by the spectacle before him, the light began to move towards the shore, growing larger, more intense with every passing moment. Fear gnawed at the edges of Thomas's composure. He'd weathered countless storms, faced down rogue waves and howling winds, but this was something different, something altogether unnatural. He raced to his lamp, its steady beam a stark contrast to the chaotic light approaching the shore. As the blue light drew closer, Thomas noticed something else, something that sent a shiver down his spine. Silhouettes, human in form but impossibly tall and thin, moved within the swirling vortex. Their eyes, burning with the same blue fire as the light itself, seemed to lock onto Thomas, their gaze filled with an ancient hunger. Thank you for joining me tonight, my fellow horror enthusiasts. We've delved into the depths of these chilling tales, explored the darkness that lurks in the shadows. But remember, these are just stories, or are they? Do you believe in unexplained lights, ghostly apparitions, and things that go bump in the night? If you enjoyed tonight's journey into the unknown, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more spine-chilling content. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss a terrifying tale. Until next time, my friends, keep those lights on and sleep tight. You never know what might be lurking just beyond the shadows.